Live from KVOA TV4 Tucson, this is Eyewitness News at 6.
I think if something hasn't worked after 20 or 30 years, it's time really to give up on it and try something different.
The man who led the fight against bilingual education in California is now helping a similar effort here in Arizona. Good evening. I'm Tom McNamara.
And I'm Patty Weiss. It's a controversial proposal, but it seems to be picking up steam. And you may be able to vote on the issue as early as next year. Ending bilingual education in Arizona. Tony Paniagua has been covering this story for months now, and Tony, is a key figure in this issue, is in Tucson right now.
He is, Patty. His name is Ron Unz, and he's a successful businessman from California. He was also successful in passing a proposition last fall which reduces or eliminates bilingual programs in that state. Today, Unz is meeting with a group of Tucsonans who want to do the same right here in Arizona. Here now, Ron Unz in his own words.
I'm here to meet with the group of parents and teachers and community activists based here in Tucson, which is organizing to try to put an initiative on the ballot, which would be a lot like our initiative in California, to effectively end bilingual education in Arizona.
Why is that a good idea, do you think?
Well, I think the problem with bilingual education is it just doesn't work. I mean, according to the statistics, very few of the students every year are able to learn English, enough English to be mainstreamed. Right now, the dropout rate of children who've been through these programs is extremely high. And in fact, in California, children start in the public schools speaking 140 different languages. They're immigrants from all over the world. The only group of children that receives a large quantity of bilingual education are Spanish-speaking children. And of all the immigrant groups, they have the highest dropout rate and the lowest test scores and the lowest rate of college admission. So really, if there's any evidence that bilingual education benefits rather than hurts, it doesn't seem to be there as far as I can see. And the program, I think, was very well intentioned when it was begun 20 or 30 years ago, but just hasn't worked in practice. And I think if something hasn't worked after 20 or 30 years, it's time really to give up on it and try something different.
What would be the different program that you would recommend?
Well, the program that we advocate in California, I think the people here in Tucson support, is the idea of intensive sheltered English immersion for children who don't know English. So in other words, when a child began school who wasn't comfortable in English, they would be placed with the other children learning the language in an intensive course to teach them English as quickly as possible. But for very young children, 5 or 6 years old, I think it's so easy for children that age to learn a new language. And that's the age in which the overwhelming majority of these children start school. I think the thing to do is just teach them English as quickly as possible.
The local opponents of bilingual education call themselves English for the Children Arizona. Of the 7 people who are meeting with Unz today, 6 of them are of Mexican descent, and some are perfectly bilingual. They say they are not against speaking other languages, but they do oppose bilingual education. They hope to put this issue on the ballot as early as next year.
What about the people on the other side, the supporters of bilingual education? I would guess that they are not very happy with this effort.
They are not, Patty. They say bilingual education works when it's done right. Without it, they say, many kids are lost in class and don't learn the subjects they're supposed to be learning. Experts admit some bilingual programs don't work like they should, but they insist getting rid of all of the programs is not the way to go. Meantime, opponents of bilingual education here in Tucson are very confident voters will also do away with the programs like they did in California.
That's right, and it may be on the ballot. Thank you very much, Tony.